Hi and welcome to the Tali Loz podcast, the second episode. And today we are talking with Becky, who is a Reiki Master. Welcome, Becky.
Hello.
How are
Thank you
you?
for having me. Yeah, I'm great. Thank you.
Thank you for joining.
Welcome.
So today we're going to talk about Reiki, but also about Becky, her interpretation and her journey into Reiki. It's reasonably new for her. It's only been a few years, so we're going to discover that fresh Reiki energy in the world. So Becky, tell us a little bit about yourself first.
So I suppose I could start with my journey into Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have been a makeup artist for the last almost 14 years. And I became a Reiki practitioner actually through having a Reiki treatment myself. I actually only had one Reiki treatment before I began to learn and understand what Reiki was, because it really blew my mind.
Yes, but were you familiar with it already?
I wasn't. I didn't even know what Reiki was, to be honest.
Wow.
I'd been through quite a difficult time, and I just, at that point, I was like, I'll just do anything to feel better. And also, I was on this journey of just trying to reconnect with myself and what I wanted. So Reiki actually came to me. I was offered a treatment through somebody that we both know, Eliza, wonderful Eliza, who is an amazing practitioner. And the experience really did blow my mind. The energy was very powerful. I slept afterwards for, like almost 14 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really intense. And I was told after the treatment that I had the ability to actually to do Reiki.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. So tell us, what is Reiki exactly?
Yeah, so Reiki, so Reiki is an energy healing. It's an alternative medicine. So it's energy healing through the use of your hands. So Reiki in itself means life force energy. So this is the energy which is available to all of us. Reiki emerged from Japan during the 1800s, and it was actually brought into the Western world through Mikao Usui, Master Usui. And he actually discovered this energetic life force after going to Mount Kuruma, and he stayed there for 21 days, or you could call it a pilgrimage.
Yes.
And during those 21 days, this energy entered, if you like, his spirit or his energy field, and basically showed him the power of it. After he left the mountain, he hurt his toe. He placed his hands onto that area and it eased the pain.
Wow, so it's very, very healing. So where does this energy come from? How can we see where does it come from?
Well, it's a feeling. So for me, how I like to explain it, because there will be people who are skeptical around what Reiki is and what it does. Firstly, what I would like to say about Reiki is I am just a conduit for that energy. So I have been attuned. Master Usui trained over 2,000 students before it was brought into the Western world. And that was attuning this energy to each individual. So it's available to everybody with the attunement process. Reiki for me feels, it's heat, it's warmth, it's that feeling you get when you get goosebumps on your arms. It can be even more tangible than that sometimes. Sometimes it can feel like a physical block energetically.
Oh, so it's like sometimes you touch people, you get this electric shock type of thing, and it
Perfect.
comes from somewhere. So could we see it as being a Reiki practitioner or Reiki master, that the energy from the universe all around us will go through your body, because you're the conduit, as you said, to either yourself or to the person that you're treating. Is that right? Sort of a right interpretation?
Exactly. So imagine, so for me, there is a process. So, I don't like to seem like holier than thou. just to be clear. But I do have a practice, and to make sure that my energy is clear.
Yes.
So, when you become a Reiki practitioner, you also have to do the 21-day cleansing process. I do self-treatments on myself so that my energy field is clear to act to transfer that energy that's required for the patient, client, each individual person. And then that will pass through to that person and help to remove any kind of stagnant energy that's stuck in the body that may have been built up over time that's causing emotional or physical illness.
Right.
So when we are suffering, that can manifest itself in our body, and Reiki has a way of sending that light through to the individual to help to start to clear that up.
And do you also work with chakras, or is that different, or is it all?
It's one and the same thing. I have to say, since learning Reiki, I've really furthered my own education in understanding our life force energy and what that is. A great person for me is Caroline Myss, and I read a book of hers called Anatomy of the Spirit, which really for me what that encompassed is all of it. This is not about religion. It doesn't matter about your religion. This is about belief in the unknown and this divine energy that surrounds all of us. This is not just about me being a healer. This is actually you discovering that you can also do that for yourself.
Right.
So chakras, yes, meridian points. I work with, when I do the hand placements, we have specific hand placements which change and adapt depending on what the person needs.
Okay.
But ideally, I would always start at the top. You start at the crown, working your way through to the feet, to the root chakra, to the grounding of the person. I do work through each of those points. Obviously, without going too much into it at this point, but as we know, the chakras, there are many other aspects to each of those chakra points.
Yes.
So I also like to say meridian points.
Perfect.
You could use, I loved Caroline Myss's version of the Tree of Life, Kabbalah. So we start to understand we have this male and feminine energy, and that's really what I'm working with, to understand that when the body feels unbalanced, I can work with the yin and the yang.
Just to bring it all back into balance.
Exactly.
And how do you ground and clear yourself? Do you have any tools that you use, or just Reiki, or?
I use many things. I use crystals, Laura.
Yes.
Crystals are really important to me. It's really important in my space as well, because they naturally help to disperse any negativity in the air, and they can also help to power me up when I need more energy. So in my own individual meditation, I use crystals. I use plants. So specific plants are placed around my treatment area, because they also help to detoxify the air. Right. Sage, incense, and sound.
Sound healing, because you're a sound healer as
well.
Am. Yeah, we're going to do a podcast on the sound healing with Becky again in the future.
Yes.
And I'm also very excited that Becky will show me at some point how it works, because I haven't got a clue. Well, I sort of know, because I do listen to sound healing, but I'd love to try it myself. Wow, so you do a lot. You've learned a lot in the last few years. So how did you already said you came through a difficult time, and how did you sort of start your spiritual journey? Did you make any travels, or did you just come in contact with people, or?
I think the intention was there. I actually think in times of real trauma or difficulty, for us all, you call out for help, and I really did. It was like show me the way. I felt lost, and I'd always been naturally very intuitive, but I think after a series of events in my life, I felt very disconnected from myself. So firstly, I called it in. First came Eliza.
Beautiful Eliza.
Beautiful Eliza. Then came through her my wonderful teacher, Diana. And then through that, me exploring other healing modalities for myself. And you know what? I really believe you step on the path and the path appears. And that's not me being woo-woo. It really does happen, you know, and it did. It appeared for me. And suddenly I really felt like having Reiki in my life, this is what it brings. It brings flow. And I felt like the universe was conspiring for me, not against me.
Yeah.
And then I decided to take a travelling journey to Bali.
Yes. Wow.
Yes, that was also after quite a difficult breakup. I had a decision to make. But anyway, that's another story. But I ended up in Bali. I woke up after having a dream that I was riding for a rice paddy. And
brilliant.
Random. And I literally booked my ticket that morning. I just booked it. I woke up and I just thought, I'm going to Bali. I just booked it.
You knew you had to go there. There's actually a lot of people go to Bali for spiritual discovery. Is it something that you say, yes, Bali is something?
Well, it is actually, from a metaphysical point of view, it is actually one of the energy centres of the world. So if we talk about our own energy centres, we have that as a planet, as a world. And it is one of the energy centres that actually their prayers and ritual actually supports and benefits the whole earth and the planet. Wow. It's a very, very powerful place. And it doesn't matter whether you believe in this or not, you can't help but experience and feel it when you arrive there. Their day consists of ritual from morning to evening, to prayers of goodness. It's the smiles, it's the love that you feel. And my intention was to go and find a spiritual teacher. I didn't know what I was doing or where I was going. And as you know, fate has it, I used to go out on these crazy walks, right? So I'm just going to totally get lost. And bearing in mind, I wasn't really practicing Reiki at this point. I was just using it for myself. I'd done my level 2. I was still really nervous. I was lacking quite a lot of confidence. And I was out on one of these crazy walks. I'd been out for about 2 hours. It was really hot. And I was like, please, can you just find me a yoga studio and a teacher? And I'm not joking. I looked up and there was a sign for yoga studio.
What?
I'm not joking. And teacher.
In Bali?
Yeah, and I wanted someone from Bali. I wanted a Balinese person. I didn't want to mix with any tourists.
Yes.
I just wanted to immerse myself in the culture. And that is what happened.
Wow. The universe definitely with you. That's brilliant.
Yes.
Such a brilliant story.
Yes.
I think if you come to these sort of patterns or experiences and things like this, that you just literally see a sign while you're asking for it, then your spirituality goes completely nuts, because then you're like, okay, yes, this is true. I'm going to dive very deep in it.
Absolutely. And I also think as you begin to have this awareness, it really is like everything you want is available.
Yes.
And when your heart intention is pure, you know, we have a lot of talk about intention and purpose, and sometimes it's hard for people to understand. But in that moment, like, you know, I'm walking around, I'm lost, just send me somebody.
Yes.
Boom, it's there.
Wow.
You know?
That's brilliant.
You know, like I said, when and sadly, you know, it is the most love and joy we find is often through deep suffering.
Yes.
Because you're being true for what you're asking for. You really want to be supported. And so I've recognised now, firstly, the power of words.
Yeah.
Secondly, the power of Reiki, because when I was there, it was actually after having a cleansing that my teacher, basically, he didn't speak English. It was through a translator. He said, you have to go back to your family and friends, and you have to use your hands.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay, I've got to do it.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. So he could tell.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
So I didn't start actually practicing Reiki till I was in lockdown.
Yeah. Wow. And then also what happened is we both know Basha as well.
Yeah.
And then you and Basha met at one day. And then what happened?
We met up to do a Reiki share. So I should say I started practicing in lockdown. I started doing distant healing. Then when we reopened, I said to Basha, I think we need to do Reiki shares. So it's something that practitioners do, again, for cleansing. It's just we help each other, you support each other, to clear your energy field. And sometimes it's just nice to have a treatment. And so we had this treatment with each other. It was so amazing. And we was like, oh, we should just be doing this for everybody. Like, and she was like, I've always wanted to start a circle. And I was like, me too.
Yeah.
Me being Becky, the doer, the action person, the Aries, I was like, right, we're going to do it. And she was like, okay.
Now she got to do it.
Yeah, and
then she's got Becky on her side. Yeah.
Totally. And then within 4 weeks we'd started. So that was in the November, just before we went into lockdown. And then when we went into lockdown, we went online, which was tricky to navigate first, but you attended.
I did.
Well, which was wonderful.
Yeah, quite a few. Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, so it's called Flow of Light Community. And what Becky and Basha do, from my experience, because I've been on the Zoom circles as well as the real life one, I attended one of them, is we share a lot. It's very confidential because everything that's said will stay in that circle. But what we also do is like meditate, and on the live one on Zoom and the real life one, you did sound healing as well. And Basha wrote meditations, which is very good. She's got talent for that, and I told her she's a very good writer. And we will just let the energy flow into us and clear us out. And all of us attending those circles felt so much better afterwards. And definitely, for those who are very interested, look on Instagram. I also put the link on the description. Flow of Light Community is the Instagram for now, and the website will be coming soon. But everybody can join.
Yeah, everybody can join.
Everybody around the whole world. Go to Becky and Basha. Yeah. And it's a beautiful circle. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I think it's all, at the moment, it was all females. But males are welcome as well. Everybody's welcome. So definitely check that out. And so what is your future? What do you see in the future for Becky and Reiki for yourself?
Well, now I just completed my master's, which was so insightful, and I feel totally powered up. I feel like I just want to share this with everybody. So it will be teaching, and I will have my own practice. And then I can just see this. I just really want this to really impact everybody. You know, we are coming out the midst of 2 years of madness, and we're all suffering mentally. Our mental health is really been hit hard. Yeah. And I feel like everything that I'm learning is for this, is for this time now, to bring this to the masses. Whether you believe in it or not, I would say experience it. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, definitely. How does one start finding someone that is suited to them?
I think for me, okay, you can either go by word of mouth. You put the question out there, because they kind of say your teacher comes to you, your practitioner comes to you. But I would just look for people, for me personally, who you get a feel for, because I think that's what it's about. You have to feel comfortable with the person. We each individually have our own ways of kind of doing the treatment and our own processes. So I think you have to intuitively feel comfortable. I'd say, I mean, my website launches at the end of September, but you can go onto my Instagram and message me on Rebecca Fletcher Holistic Healing. And also I know lots of people. Reiki Federation is great as well, because you can, they've all been approved, everyone's got their certificates. They haven't just done a kind of online course, they've been validated. Yeah. So I think, firstly, feel comfortable with the person. Yes, search social media, but also check that they're accredited. Yeah. It would be my advice.
Yeah, I think so. I think especially if you learn from a person, because online it's very easy to get a certificate online, but they may not have practice on people, and then you could get out of balance if that person may or may not be good or not. But I think that's a very good, wise tip. I think it's with everything, really.
Yeah.
Try to find a lot of evidence of their qualities.
And I think you can sense it from, a friend of mine, she said something to me, it really made me laugh, but she was like, I want to believe you're living your life like Jesus. Like, I thought it was brilliant. But in a way, like I was saying to you, is like, there are things that for me, I am a vegetarian, there's certain practices, I wouldn't be drinking the night before a treatment. Meditation is important. I clear my own energy. I practice this. Reiki is my life.
Yes.
So, and I know the people who I work with, the same Basha, Eliza, Mayo, all of these, that is their life.
Yes.
They're not pretending.
No, no pretending. No pretending.
So I just think, pick someone who's living the Reiki way,
yes,
so to speak.
Yeah,
living the philosophy. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, that's true. That's very wise words. Very wise words. And is there because we just mentioned Eliza as well as Mayo actually. All three Reiki practitioners, I have to say, but all three are very different. One of them could also see things, or have like psychic ability. The other one sees only sort of colors. Like for you, when you do treatment on someone, do you see things? Do you feel things?
Yes, and it's quite when it first happened, it's quite shocking.
Oh, is it?
It's not scary. I just want to add, like, it's not like suddenly like people are appearing all around me.
No.
What I would say is, I think the description is clairsentient. So it's more of a sound. So it's more words, sounds that then appear to me as a vision.
Right.
So sometimes I can have quite clear visuals which mean absolutely nothing to me. There's two things with that. I can pass on the message or not. So I have to ask in my subconscious whilst I'm doing the treatment, should I pass this on? It's very strange. Yeah, you can, and I sometimes get the sense no.
Yes.
It's not right. It's not right for that person. Because some people will come in and they've never had a treatment before, and you're going to start telling them all these things you're suddenly aware of. It can be a bit
scary. Yeah. Intimidating, scary, or people are not ready to hear things.
Yes.
It's a very fine line. You want to help them, but you have to choose what can I say or not.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, and I can often, because I'm trying to, not trying, I do tune into the person before they come for a treatment. I can get a sense of them. So sometimes I can already be like, oh, you've got a shoulder and a knee problem.
Yes.
They'll be like, whoa. I'm like, yeah. So you start to get a sense of a person. Just again, I have to say this obviously as a disclaimer, we are not here as a replacement for medical treatment.
No.
So I can help to calm the inflammation system. We can help to ease that pain. We still recommend that it's a holistic, it's a holistic, the whole thing. You still can go to your GP. So
you were just saying that you've only been with Reiki a few years. So does that mean that everybody could learn Reiki, no matter what age?
Yes.
Do you already have to be spiritual, or even if you're sort of skeptic, but you think, do you know what? I might give it a go. Can I also learn it?
I love that you've asked this question, because I think it's really important to be aware that we all have this ability. That is our God-given gift. We can heal. We've done it since the beginning of time. Before we had any of the things that we have available to us now. We all understood plants. We all understood nature, what works for us and what doesn't. And Reiki is that. If you're looking at it exactly in its truest nature of universal life force energy, that is available to us all. So, this is about actually, we move away from ego to realise that you can do this.
Yes.
You know, my nieces could do this. You know, my mum could do this. It's whether you want to.
You have to be open for it. Yes.
And that's all it really comes down to, is the belief in yourself that you have the capability to be of service to other people. That's where it starts, really.
Yeah. And I think it's good because you already talked about the levels, like level 1, which you want to teach other people as well. And you're going to teach me level 1.
Yes,
I'm very excited for that. So with level 1, you recommend it's more self-healing, and I could also put that Reiki energy into the crystals that I sell to people. And then with level 2, you can already start on other people.
Yes. So so Reiki Level 1 is, so you don't learn any of the symbols, and it is purely for yourself. So you learn the placements, you'll learn the history of Reiki, you do the 21-day cleansing, and then you can use it on your plants. You can use it on your friends and family, not for payment, but it's just for you to practice and get used to feeling that energy in the palms of your hands. Yeah. Crystals, you know, anything. You could just send that intention to your food, your bath water, to clear it.
Wow.
You know, yeah, it's a really beautiful practice. Even if you don't want to go on to do it for anybody else, purely just for yourself, to bring you into. For me, it's bringing you into a space of total clarity, peace, and presence.
Yes, that's what we need, rather than rushing around and living with the clock.
Exactly, because you have to take that time to do the treatment on yourself. You can take 10 minutes, you can take 30, you can take an hour. It depends what time you have, but it's available for us all. Reiki 2 is slightly more intense. You're going to be learning the symbols, understanding how they're used, what they mean, the power of them, which means then you can practice. You can be a Reiki practitioner.
Wow.
Yes.
That sounds really cool. I want to learn that.
Yes.
I love to learn the symbols, and I love symbols. I currently work, I'm learning about like crystal grids and sacred geometry and all this stuff. Like, I'm fascinated about it. YouTube is like running all of those for me at the moment on my wall. And, but yeah, I think Reiki, with the symbols especially, I'm very curious about, would work really well with the crystal grids, and learn about sacred geometry and how to disperse the energy and flow the energy. And it sounds really interesting.
It's interesting, and it's really powerful. It's interesting because I know we'll talk about sound another time, but it's all one and the same. This is the power of somebody has used this symbol since time even unknown to us. And imagine that all the intention and power that has been put into that symbol, that then you're using for the sake of good. And it's powerful, it's really powerful, and you can use it to clear your space, you can use it to clear other people's space, you can use it to protect you. So for me, as you move into level 2, whether you become a practitioner or not, just to upgrade in that energy, you definitely feel the shift in yourself.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in, that's for sure.
Brilliant. Good. Yes.
I'm in. Becky can be my teacher.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great. Wow, thank you so much, Becky. Is there anything that you say, you know, that you want to add to the conversation that people need to know, or?
Do you know what? For me, I really would want to express that Reiki is love in its most basic but fundamental form. It is universal energy, is love, and we all know what that feels like and how that makes us feel, and we become better for it. So for me, it has the ability to change us. Wow. For the good.
For the good.
Yeah.
Everybody should do some Reiki.
Absolutely.
We'll all calm down in the world.
Yes.
Yeah, I think for mental health as well, it's a good practice next to the normal medical side for it, definitely. Well, thank you so much, Becky. I've learned a lot.
Good.
And I love, hearing your personal story as well. I think it's very beautiful how people come to spirituality, because we all have a story. And yeah, it's just very, very beautiful. And I think also the circles, or the people that we know, for some reason we all came together in London. We're all coming from different parts of the world, and we all know each other. And very, very, very interesting how this will happen. So I want to thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That we are in each other's lives.
Me too. It's an absolute pleasure.
It's so beautiful. And thank you so much for your time and explaining Reiki to us. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Next week, we're going to talk about Buddhism.